Good morning, afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another Sketch Sunday. Let's get into it. So, as per usual, I am using my Mont Graphite pencils and flipping through the book to find an empty page. So, I usually have my references up as I do here. And today we are doing Honest John in Pinocchio's clothes. Now, I struggled to conceptualize how I was going to draw Honest John. Like, it didn't make sense how I was going to draw this animal human hybrid. So I found a tutorial on Pinterest and I looked at it and I figured out the shapes that were needed, and I used that to create my sketch because I didn't quite, it was tricky. I didn't quite understand the anatomy of a wolf person, fox person thing. So I was very scared to do this drawing, even though I think I did a pretty good job in the end, even though it took me a lot to get to where I was happy with his anatomy. And then obviously I had to block in where the clothes would go. So Pinocchio wears shorts, Honest John wears long pants. So I had to figure out also how I was going to incorporate like a fur style for the fur of his legs and the fur of his arms, because they are covered in the original like references. So that was another challenge, but I think I overcame it pretty well. There's a lot of erasing, a lot of touch-ups, a lot of redoing, because as I said before, it is not a type of drawing that is within my visual library. And I realized with this drawing that I needed to expand my visual library in order to be better at what I was trying to do with this whole series. But as you all know, this is number 18 within the series, even though I didn't record numbers 1 through to 16 because I didn't know I wanted to be on YouTube. But if you want to see those, the link is in the description box below, and you will see it all on my Instagram. So as you can see, I'm just adding in all the little bits and pieces of the clothes, so like how the shirt would hang, because yeah. So I'm just marking out where the bow would be, where the collar that Pinocchio wears would be, as well as how the shirt would hang. And then I'm also adding in that little coat thing that Pinocchio wears. I don't know what it's called. It can't be a waistcoat. I refuse to call it a waistcoat. But that little thing. Guys, it really takes like a lot of time to do these drawings. Like, this video is like 21-ish minutes long, but the actual drawing process took me like an hour and a half. So speeding up videos really takes away from the actual effort and time and precision that goes into it, because it looks really fast here. It really does. It looks like I'm working at super speed and I'm blocking in shapes really fast, when in actuality this whole process took me an hour and a half. And I'm not complaining. I love creating art. I love being able to draw almost every day. I love being able to make sketches almost every day. I love the fact that I could create a project for myself. But at the same time, videos don't do it justice, because I don't think anybody wants to watch somebody else draw for an hour and a half. And the reason I do voiceovers is because I usually have something playing in the background, because I don't like silence. And I'm doing Honest John's face, and it really wasn't that difficult once I figured out the anatomy of it and I understood the anatomy of it. It became a lot easier to recreate in a way. Like, sure, his face looks off. His face really doesn't look like his face, but it's a lot better than my off-camera attempt. Let me tell you that. And obviously I toy around with the face quite a bit. It's not because I'm unhappy with it, it's because it doesn't look right. There's always something to fix. But also I learned very early on in my art career that if you aren't happy with the sketch that you're producing, you are not going to be able to fix it later on. Don't think adding shading or coloring is going to fix it later on. You need to be happy with the sketch that you create, because a good foundation is always better. And the hands were a little tricky. As you know from the previous Sketch Sunday video, I'm not the best at hands, but we tried them anyway. Also, if you watched the Pinocchio Sketch Sunday, you will know that I made Pinocchio rather large, and if you put like this drawing of Honest John next to the drawing of Pinocchio, they are not in proportion with each other, which is weird because I thought I would be drawing characters in proportion, like to each other, but I'm drawing them in proportion to the book. So if you're a tall character, you come out a bit smaller, and if you're like a smaller character, you come out bigger because the space allows it. So as you can see, I forgot the tail, so I'm just adding in the tail within the sketch. And now I can start off with line art. I know some people do line art last. I am not one of those people. I do line art whenever. Just like I do everything else, whenever. But I will say, of all the feet I have attempted to draw and have drawn, Honest John's feet were the easiest. 3 toes, simple, no questions asked, it just worked. So I did decide to make the fur on Honest John's legs and arms match the kind of texture of his tail, so the like furry zigzaggy type of way, instead of trying to make it like the fur in his face where there's very few jagged bits, furry bits, sticky out hairs. I don't know what you'd call it. And then also I don't have a particular method to what line art I do first or what line art I do second. I don't work from like the top to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top, or from the left to the right. I just jump around and do what feels right. Also, because I did do all the furry bits first, I could keep the style consistent instead of trying to jump from like clothes to fur to clothes again or to fur again. It just made it a lot easier. And then all I'm doing is adding in the correct line art, and I'm erasing like the overlapping lines. For example, the pants line does go through the Kreisbande lines. I don't know what they're called, but it goes through like the dungaree section lines. So I just erased the pants lines and made the line art of the dungaree Kreisbande section. And then doing the line art for the hands, just getting in like the claw shape was a bit tricky because I don't usually draw pointy hands. I've attempted to draw pointy hands, never gotten them right, but I did try. So I am perfecting the hand, adding in shading for the hand. So now I'm doing the shading for the light section of his fur, which is like the inside of his face. As well as the bottom of his feet, which is the lighter section of the fur, and the outside of the tail. That's where in the reference he has like a beige color, so I've just made that lighter, and then I'm adding in the details of the face. The eyebrows, the nose, the eyes. And then also adding in the darker shading, which in the reference picture is like a maroon color. So I'm just making the rest of the fur slightly darker. And continuing with the line art of the face. And then I realized I didn't want a repeat of what happened last time, where my hand smudged graphite all around Pinocchio. So I decided to grab a page just to rest my hand on it, and it is a scrap piece of paper. And I'm really proud with how the sketch came out. Even though I was sort of kind of dreading it, I think it came out really well. And if you're enjoying this process so far, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And then I'm just making sure that I note which sections need to be the same color. So Pinocchio's hat and his shirt are yellow, the pants is red, and the feather in his hat is also supposed to be red. And then the line across the hat as well as the bow tie are supposed to be blue. So I was just making sure that I know which items need to be the same value. And this I feel was one of the easier sketch Sundays that I've done. It felt like a really long drawing, but looking at it like this in sped up mode, it seems a whole lot easier, if I can say that, than what it felt at the time. And then I darkened the line art of the t-shirt. As well as the collar. Shading in the pants. And obviously doing the line out of the pants. But because the pants and the legs are so close, I did the separating lines first. And I'm just shading in the pants as well as the crease band dungaree section, and doing the line art. And I'm just adding in the details of the crosses on the side of the pants and some of the other details. I'm doing the final shading of the bow tie. doing the outline of the hat and feather. And that's the final piece. Thank you for joining me for another Sketch Sunday. I hope to see you again soon. Bye!